story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, federal government holds security meeting to review performance of the military operations in northeast Nigeria. Also in this program, United Nations insists on sanctity of the March 28 polls date. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naba, becomes to the All Progressives Congress. Outside Nigeria, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu seeks new term in office and closely contested parliamentary poll. Thanks for staying tuned with us. Now details of the headlines and other stories. President Goodluck Jonathan on Tuesday reviewed ongoing military operations in the northeast with the nation's security chiefs and other government officials. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Tahiru Jaga, was also in attendance at the Security Council meeting. Army Chief General Kenneth Minima said at the end of the meeting that the council was impressed with the performance of troops at the front lines. By Samuel reports. We do apologize, we cannot bring you that report now. We'll sort it out and bring it to you in our subsequent bulletins. And we continue with other stories. President Goodluck Jonathan has again called on Nigerians to show support for the military in appreciation of their efforts in the fight against Boko Haram. He was speaking at the presidential villa at a brief presentation of monetary support by a well-meaning citizen to the Nigerian Armed Forces just before the security meeting in Abuja. The president expressed delight at the gesture and maintained that the military deserves honor and respect instead of abusers.
I think it's a very positive thing that Nigerians are beginning to respond and respect or want to support their armed forces. We felt that what the president had been saying, that this war is not for military, it's for all of us. And this one is not an organization, but as an individual, he chose to make this donation on behalf of his wife.
Who shall risk his life or our life, future, prospects, every day to defend others? Only men and women of honor will do that. Who will stay awake in the raging storms so that others, old, young, weak, pregnant women, and vulnerable, will have blissful rest? Only sincere patriots will do that. Ironically, in Nigeria, we scorn, we accuse, we despise our nation builders, while we respect together this strong country. But it's only when we honor our inconspicuous great men and women in uniforms who will ever build the Nigeria of our dreams. My wife and I humbly seek your indulgence first to present this token amount.
A nation must honor these people. All nations, and especially we emulate don't insult their military and intelligence services. Because the strength of a nation depends on these men and women, who just like the king would say, have to stay in the rain for us to stay in roof buildings. They have to stay awake for us to sleep. And these are people who must be honored, must be appreciated, and definitely must be insulated from our politics. I feel bad when leaders try to rope in the military in our day-to-day political activities. That is reckless. And we call on all Nigerians to also pattern the activities after arrest. This is a young woman. It's not the richest in Nigeria. It's not even listed among the rich. But I've been able to come up with a token of 1 million to show his feelings for the armed forces and other security operatives. Other Nigerians can do better.
With only a few days to the 2015 presidential election, the international community is keen on ensuring that the March 28 date remains sacrosanct. Speaking after a closed session with the APC presidential candidate, a special representative of the United Nations Secretary General Jeffrey Feltman disclosed that talks have been held with the two major political parties to this effect. He also said the visit further afforded an opportunity to share ideas on ways of tackling insurgency and terrorism in the country.
It's important now that the elections have been announced the 28th of March, that this date be respected, that voters be allowed to go out and express their views of the candidates peacefully on March 28th. It's a very strong message we have from New York.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Muhammadu Buhari, has assured that the Nigerian constitution will be upheld if he wins the election on March 28. He stated this at an interactive session with Nigerian press organizations in Abuja, where he also vowed to ensure that freedom of the media is not compromised. On the issue of national government, the former military ruler, who described himself as a converted Democrat, maintained that it will be subjected to thorough discussion.
Former military ruler, and now a converted Democrat, who is ready to operate under democratic norms. I have not only subjected myself to the rigors of democratic elections for the first time, but even after being elected, I will continue to promote the consolidation of democracy in our great country, Nigeria, by guaranteeing that the media's freedom is not compromised in any way.
The wife of the president, Patience Jonathan, has described the opposition party APC as lacking ideology. Speaking at the women rally in Ilorin, the First Lady canvassed votes for her husband as she joined women and the PDP to extra violence ahead of the general polls. Rashid has more.
Barely 24 hours after the visit of Aisha Buhari, the wife of the president, Patience Jonathan, also brings campaign to Ilorin. Speaking with gathering of PDP women, she admonished them to eschew violence as the forthcoming election, in her words, is a sealed deal for the PDP.
PDP is not shaking because we are there. As far as we are there, there is no need for PDP to be troublesome. PDP is peace-loving people. So my children of Kwara women, I know that you are peaceful people and you are not abiding people. Keep it up, and keep it up. The women, we are not contesting election. No. It's the men, our husbands, that are contesting. Our own is to pray for them. Our own is to make sure they succeed. Our own is to make sure to guide them and protect them. Women, don't let yourself to be lured.
The First Lady took a swipe at the All Progressives Congress in what she describes as a party lacking ideology following its frequent change of names, saying the party may be heading towards embracing Ebola as a name.
Every day made them change from one name to the spear drug to another name. Very soon, Ebola will answer. When they fail finish, they will change to another name and answer Ebola. Now they are dead will come. Because I know that they will fail.
On their part, the governorship candidate of the PDP in Kwara State and other party stalwarts declared their expectation at the polls.
To show our appreciation to our father and to this peaceful family is to do what? To vote our leader, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Any head of government, any head of state, any president before in Nigeria that has done what our leader, President Jonathan, has done to us in Kwara State. The only thing we can assure you is that inshallah, come March 28th, we shall, inshallah, compensate Dr. Jonathan with our votes.
And you can see with the number of women that have come out to receive you here today, be rest assured, come March 28th, from Mr. President up to our reps and senators, will be PDP all the way.
As campaigns intensify with the general polls a few days away, the effect of these campaigns would only be felt when Nigerians decide through their votes. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
Lagos State's governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Akinwumi Ambode, has promised Ikorodu residents that he would construct more entry and exit routes into and out of Ikorodu if elected. Addressing market women and artisans in a town hall meeting in Ikorodu in Yoruba language, Ambode says he will ensure more job creation for youths, care of the aged, that everyone will be beneficiaries of the dividends of his administration if he is elected. Some of the parties
more than ever, we want to tell our incoming governor of Lagos State that we are ready. We are sold out on him. And whatever it is, come April 11, he could do 100%, almost 100%. And I mean, everybody, you can tell all over the town today, we're wanting to tell him we love him. We're counting on him. And so we're telling everybody to go out en masse, 11 of April, to vote for our candidate. And also March 28 to vote for Major General Muhammadu Buhari and all our winning team.
We are supporting the party because we have already seen the work done by Fashola, so we want the work to continue. That's why we are coming group.
The Nigerian authorities say President Goodluck Jonathan will not apologize for issues that led to the diplomatic row with Morocco. This, according to
some
Foreign
people are trying to make
Minister
this whole thing
Aminu
political.
Wali, because he did not
and of
play
course, in
any
this
role
business
in
of ours
the
of diplomacy,
that
a
emanated
lot of
from his ministry. The minister who spoke on the sidelines of the Security Council meeting in Abuja says if anyone has to apologize, it is him.
Political. And of course, in this business of ours of diplomacy, a lot of things do happen. So we're trying to find out. And I would like to say that the president has got nothing to do with it. This is something that has happened. It's a bit of mix-up somewhere along the line, and we are going to unravel it. But the president has got nothing to do with it. Therefore, people should not, like I had some senator from the opposition asking for the president to apologize to the country. Now, this is, if at all, if there's anybody going to apologize, it's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And I, being the Minister of Foreign Affairs, will be the one to tender that apology, not Mr. President.
A former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Naba, defects to the APC. Find out more after this time out. Just stay with us.
I'm so daily dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's Orange Flavor Multivitamin Emotion.
Election time don't come. Time to vote don't come. Your vote tonight, your power. Oh. Make you use them well. Lagos State APC. Don't do better. Better road. Transport. Get better school. Hospital cell. Better economy. Plenty jobs. Security. Environment. For continuity in excellence in Lagos State. Vote for APC, APC, all progressives Congress, APC. Vote for APC, 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 APC. Vote for Akinwumi Ambode for governor.
Vote for the consolidator, Akinwumi Ambode, for governor of Lagos State. Vote APC.
Thanks for staying tuned with us. If you've just joined us, this is CoreTV Prime Time News. A reminder of some of our major headlines. The federal government holds a security meeting to review performance of the military operations in northeast Nigeria. United Nations insist on sanctity of the March 28 polls date. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naba, comes to the All Progressives Congress. Don't forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms. Well, on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV, the Space News. We continue with other stories. The Independent National Electoral Commission has been advised to free itself from the apron strings of politicians to give the nation a free and credible elections. This challenge was thrown at the Commission by the Justice, Development and Peace Commission of the Catholic Church. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, who was at the briefing organized by the group, filed in this report.
The Justice, Development and Peace Commission says the Independent National Electoral Commission should take a cue from its name and guard its independence jealously.
The INEC should be free from the apron strings of 7 politicians, and the roadmap for achieving this compulsory independence of the INEC is going back to the Ways recommendation as earlier opined. The JDPC further warns that politicians should not overheat the polity. We are not at war. It is just an election.
The group's deputy director further drove home the group's point on its advice to INEC.
It is not today that the call for removal of an empire in Nigeria started. From 1959 to today, there is no empire that has been in charge of election that some people, according to their thinking of the performance of the empire, have not called for the removal. It's either people think that it's cutting them off, or blocking their chances, or whatever. What is strange in the guy's case is that this is the first time since 1959 that the ruling party or supporters of the ruling party are calling for the removal of an empire.
The JPDC chief also advised Nigerians against violence in the coming elections.
We are afraid that people will hijack
this election and mar it with so much violence. And that's what we do not want. And that's why we are, as a Center for Justice, Development and Peace, we are against every form of violence. And we do not want the electorate to be used as a pawn to fabricate violence or to cause mayhem everywhere. Like I will always say, the president and all the other politicians maybe will just be best of friends. So we should not become enemies on their behalf.
The group also made a call to all Nigerians to embrace peace, honesty, and justice. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naba, is now a member of the Board of Trustees of the All Progressives Congress, APC. This was after he formally announced his defection to the opposition party within few days of opting out of the People's Democratic Party. Naba was received into APC by a high-profile team of party chieftains led by National Chairman John Odige Oyegun. Pio Samo has more.
It's campaign season, but APC leaders are prepared to take a temporary break. This is because of what party chieftains are convinced is a big catch in the political cycle. A former Speaker of the House of Representatives has within days of dumping PDP opted for the opposition party.
I had always told our leaders that we cannot continue to rule this country on the basis of divisiveness. We can succeed in this country without maligning other parts of the country, because we have all it takes. All the regions in this country have comparative advantages which we can build on and succeed.
He was well received by APC national leaders at a brief ceremony at the party's secretariat.
APC, to register, we have to generate 12 million members to populate 14 organs and 4 other organs. And as we speak now, we are heads above that 12 million.
2 years ago at a meeting of all parties, I had cause to warn this government that the Naira was going to exchange for 200 to 1 by the 31st of December 2014. Yes. 14 years ago, I had cause to warn that violence of a nature never seen in this country was going to occur in the north, forced by alienation, careless politics, and a declining economic fortune.
Naba only left the ruling party a few days ago, but APC believes that he is big enough to go straight into its board of trustees. The party chairman spoke on the importance of having a personality of the caliber of the former speaker in the opposition.
Today, we are receiving a personality of indisputable quality into our ranks. A man of achievement, a man of principle, a man who has displayed in no uncertain terms that he shares the ideals of our party. For a long time, he struggled, he worked within the fold of the PDP to see if he can steer the ship back to safe waters. But of course, all that to no effect.
The party leaders were clearly basking in the euphoria of their new member and are looking forward to receiving more defectors from a party they say is in disarray.
The leadership of the National Human Rights Commission has been meeting with the major political actors in Kaduna as part of measures to dose rising tension in the state. The Commission Chairman, Chidi Odinkalu, is at the head of the team that has in the last few days held separate meetings with Governor Mokhtar Yero and his All Progressives Congress counterpart, Nasser El-Rufai. The Rights Commission team also held talks with the leadership of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the police.
That gave us a lot of cause for worry. Rivers State, Lagos State, and Kaduna State. Now, these states are also very strategic in Nigeria. If you look at this.
Those who experienced what happened in 2011, I don't think anybody is praying for it. Where the whole of Kaduna would remain indoor for good 1 week.
None of our people have been engaged in attacking. No, since this campaign started, and we are very proud of that, and we continue to preach accordingly.
We are ready for peaceful election, and go and watch all my campaigns. I have been preaching peace. I've been asking for our people to remain calm.
A group of supporters of the All Progressives Congress from Rivers State on Tuesday staged a protest at the Independent National Electoral Commission on what they say is threat to peaceful election in some parts of the state. The protesters specifically alleged that gunmen who claimed to be acting on orders from Abuja have been disrupting political events in Okrika since January 2015. They are not sure elections would hold without violence in their area, but want INEC to go ahead with plans to use permanent voters' cards.
Very simple. Anybody that shouts APC, kill them. In Ogbolo, the message was very simple. Anybody that shouts APC, kill them. We've heard several things, even with the things that have happened. They told us we shouldn't get into Okrika. We got into Okrika, they bombed our secretariat. What has INEC planned for us? We are tempted to want to believe that the state is involved. We are tempted to want to believe that some persons that want to benefit from this exercise are the persons that are directly involved in this whole process. Our fears are that they shouldn't push us to the wall. As a party, we have told our members to be calm, and we've been very calm, even in the face of these stiff attacks. The card readers must be used. There are plans not to use the PVCs. We are aware they have cloned so many cards in Okrika, at Ogubolo. And our position as a chapter of APC in Rivers State is that the PVCs must be used.
Your complaint we have received, we have forwarded to the office of the chairman. And to assure you that one of you has gone there, let not anybody think that we have just dropped it somewhere different. We have taken to the office, it has been received, and it is the chairman when he will have a look at it. We are going to wait until everything you will hear from us, especially the two gentlemen have taken down their numbers. We can be speaking, and we have copies. We have also given them copies. So your complaint, in short, your complaint is in the right place.
The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress has accused the presidency of conniving with the Odua People's Congress to terrorize the people of Lagos State in the run-up to the 2015 election. It described the anti-Jega rally held by the OPC a few days as a big indictment on the government. Party chairman John Odigoyegun is convinced that the procession is a fallout of the recent legees the militia group got from the presidency.
In Lagos yesterday, of all people, OPC, 3 days after the 9 billion contract, 9 billion, between OPC, what that man's name, Dr. Fashion and Friday Fashion and 1 or 2 others. 9 days after, a few days, after a 9 billion contract, they are demonstrating, carrying guns openly in Lagos and all over the place for the same reason. They don't want card reader. They don't want Jega. They don't want this. This is a government in power. Getting violent people who have taken up arms against the state at one time or the other. Getting them out to the streets to do what? So, we are a nation that needs people of conscience. We are a nation that needs people that know that we are in very dire straits. We are a nation that needs people who turn their backs on sharing. These days are here in dollars because they don't have enough Ghana Moscow to carry the bulky naira. so they go about in dollars. We're a nation that needs leaders of conscience who can turn their backs on bags of dollars.
As the general elections get closer, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says record of performance should be the yardstick for any incumbent elective office holder seeking re-election instead of sponsoring people to break down the existing peaceful coexistence in the country. Fashola stated this at the flag-off of year 2015 Agric Value Chains Empowerment Program. Abiola Luwole has the details in this report presented from our studios.
Reactions have continued to trail the violent approach of anti-Jaga rally led by the national coordinator of the Odua People's Congress, Gani Adams. Though this event was meant to empower farmers in Lagos State, but Governor Fashola seized the opportunity of it to address some national issues. Speaking on what he termed brigandage created by the anti-Jaga protesters in Lagos, Fashola says record of performance ought to be the issue of any incumbent seeking re-election, not sponsoring anti-people's rallies. He noted such acts could derail the security of the state.
Instead of canvassing for your votes and showing you why their record of service is better, they were showing you knives, they were showing you cordials and dangerous weapons. Some residents phoned to say that they were banging on their cars. Let me remind all of us that the work of a party and a government is to protect its citizens and not to terrorize them. For those who still say that they do not know what the issues in this election are, yesterday's event brought one issue sharply in focus. That issue is security.
Back to the issue at hand, State Commissioner for Agriculture and Cooperatives, Bola Lawal, says the over 3,500 beneficiaries of the empowerment were selected from associations across the state. Beneficiaries of the program say the initiative has changed their lives for the better.
Coming at this time of the economy, when things are not all that good, it's a great assistance. In fact, it came at the right time. With this, I have hope of reviving my own business.
The empowerment program is the second in the series organized by the state government.
The relations of a young man, Chibeke Ede, who until his death was a housekeeper with the Protea Hotel in Benin City, have staged a protest calling for justice over what they term his killing by the police with the complicity of the Protea Hotel management. Our correspondent filed in this report.
The family of the late Chibeke Ede, a 26-year-old housekeeper with Protea Hotel in Benin City, who hails from Nkanu, East Local Government Area of Enugu State, says he was detained on the orders of the management of the Protea Hotel Benin for alleged theft of 48,000 naira. According to the family spokesman, Ernest Nwobodo, the late Chibeke was arrested last Friday, and the family also confirmed his well-being on Saturday morning, only to be told by the police later same day that he had been released on bail. His body, according to Ernest, was later discovered in the mortuary of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital.
The money we were having was 42,000. CSO said it's 48,000. We want to complete the money. We coming back to pay the 48,000. They said our brother has been paid. So who? So later, our brother's dead body is still unknown on top of his body at the UPTH. We are now asking the Nigerian police, because we saw his name at the board as a stealing suspect. We now go there, his name is no longer there. They said they have released him. Someone inside is scared. Someone under your custody. How come motor take German for road? Is this motor? Is this motor? Where's the other one? We'll go to court. We need justice.
The family, after leaving the NUJ Secretariat, took their protest right to the doorstep of the Protea Hotel, where they were met by the Benin Area Command, Musa Uba.
The leaders of the protest want to cooperate with us. We don't want violence. Thank you very much. Whatever the leader is going to have some delegates
Mother of the deceased, Christiana Ede, called on the state government to help her in bringing her son's murderers to justice.
Before my children go back to Arakira, they say my son is not there at the police station. They wait, they say they don't already come out. They don't carry go office for hotel or testing. They wait, no better answer again. I called them. They said that this CPK, my son name there again. Even though when I read that, I see my son name on notice board. CPK, they told me to go and buy this 2 Detroit, number 18, 2 Detroit and a jig and 2 toilet food. I might go and buy food for them. They bring it, come out, I give them food. I didn't say anything. We already bus asked me the white polo.
Earlier, Olariwaju Eyindero of the Operation Thunderstorm urged the aggrieved protesters not to take laws into their hands, assuring that the police will investigate and ensure that the culprits do not go scot-free. The management of Protea Hotel, however, did not comment on the issue.
At least one person is feared dead and property worth millions of naira have been lost at the Korodua Batua market when truck accident resulted in an inferno in the early hours of the day. We will bring you details in a subsequent bulletin. A biochemistry professor, Sunday Atawodi, has expressed concern over the high prevalence rate of cancer in the country. He also noted that a greater proportion of cancer deaths in Nigeria is from breast and liver cancer. Professor Atawodi said at the forum in Kaduna that about 14.1 million people around the world are living with cancer.
Nigerians are continuously exposed to chronic levels of carcinogens and their precursors in food, medicinal plants, and tobacco. However, we must all take steps to, as much as possible, neutralize or render ineffective all exposures to carcinogenic agents, whether they are avoidable or non-avoidable, by consuming those foodstuffs that contain polyphenols and other compounds.
He added that Nigerians must learn to eat fruits and vegetables in proportion in order to prevent the disease, aside from avoiding smoking.
Of food, especially fruits, vegetables, and the more varied the color, the better, because a color indicates the predominant presence of something, whereas another color would determine another thing. Since the cancer is a multi-stage process, taking little of every this thing will affect all steps. That way, you can be guaranteed that you can keep cancer and even other diseases far away from your life.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and return with business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria. Please stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Now to business. With series of complaints coming from electricity consumers, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) on Tuesday announced the reduction of electricity tariff by 50%. NERC Chairman Dr. Sam Amadi, who made this known in Abuja, says the addition of the aggregate technical, commercial and collection losses to the reviewed tariff that was implemented on January 1st, 2015 were responsible for the skyrocketed tariff. The addition, according to the NERC, was done after it conducted a fact-finding tour of the discos and noted that it was aimed at ensuring a cost-reflective tariff by passing the bulk to paying consumers for losses incurred from non-paying consumers. Although increment in residential tariff was pending till June 2015, the total removal of the collection loss applied to all consumers, including industrial and commercial consumers who were affected after a stakeholders meeting. It was decided the electricity tariff will be slashed by 50%. Oil prices have been under pressure for 4 consecutive days on Tuesday. The fall in crude oil prices was limited by a fall in dollar, which made commodities denominated in the greenback more appealing to holders of other currencies. Benchmark Brent oil slipped about 90 cents early in the session, then retraced some losses to stand at $53 a barrel from Monday's close. Brent last closed higher on March 11th. Since then, it had lost more than 7%, and traders believe it will break below $50. U.S. crude traded at $43.50 a barrel, but there are suggestions that it could be more. It could move down to between $32 and $37. It's now time to join Sabina Izoku for Stock Market Report. Over to you, Sabina.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izuku. Equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today as the Nigerian All Shares Index depreciated by 1.25% as against the previous to close at 29,553.69 basis points. The market capitalization decreased in the same manner to close at 9.86 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 452.28 million units of shares valued at 3.28 billion naira were exchanged in over 3,739 deals. On the gainer side, Axis Bank told the gainers chart was 6 naira 58 kobo with a price difference of 60 kobo, followed by Guinness, Fitson Healthcare PLC, Costin West African, and International Energy Insurance Company. On the flip side, Seplat Oil topped the losers chart, followed by Zenith Bank International Breweries, Union Bank of Nigeria, and United Africa Company Properties. Meanwhile, Diamond Bank topped the higher traders, followed by Axis Bank, First Bank Nigerian Holdings, Transcorp, and First City Monument Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here is the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
And with stock market reports from Sabina, we bring you sports stories. The Confederation of Africa Football, CAF, has directed Nigeria Professional Football League NPFL club Dolphins to remain in Tunis until a decision is made to determine their exit from the CAF Confederation Cup. CAF, in a letter on Monday from its deputy director in the competitions department, Khalid Nada, gave the Nigerian club hope of being restored into the CAF Confederation Cup after they were walked over by Club African on Saturday in a first leg round of 32 March. Dolphins now believe that following the communication from CAF, there is a ray of hope for them after they protested their being walked over by 12-time Tunisian champions Club African. CAF will communicate its decision on Tuesday concerning the matter involving Dolphins and Club African bearing any hitch. And now outside Nigeria, Israelis have voted in an election expected to be a close-fought battle between the center-left and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who rolled out a Palestinian state in a last-ditch appeal to the right. The outcome of the race, in which opinion polls suggest Netanyahu will win fewer seats than the center-left Zionist Union, is likely to help determine the prospects for new Middle East peace talks and Israel's troubled regions with its U.S. ally. Around 6 million voters are eligible to take part in the election for Israel's 120 members of parliament. Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood judicial sources say an Egyptian court seeks the death penalty for the Muslim Brotherhood's top leader Mohammed Badeh and 13 other members of the group for inciting chaos and planning attacks on police and army institutions. The court formally referred the case to the Grand Mufti, the country's highest Islamic legal official, which is the first step towards imposing a death sentence. And just before we go, a recap of our major headlines. We told you that the federal government has held a security meeting to review performance of the military operations in the northeast Nigeria. We also brought to a report that United Nations insist on sanctity of the March 28 polls date. You also heard from us that the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Galihu Naba, becomes to the All Progressives Congress. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for staying on with us. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift. Have a lovely, lovely night rest.